Hello, traveler. Thank you for being here. Today we have a new moon, and we are coming right up to a pretty eventful season astrologically. We have some eclipses coming up, so it's a great time to check in with the energy and see what messages would like to come through for you today. We've got two piles here. We've got the white feather and the black feather. And today I felt called to put an oracle card with each feather. So we will be using the card that you choose, the pile that you choose, to start your reading. So go ahead and take some deep breaths, center yourself, ground your energy, and allow your intuition to choose which pile is meant for you today. As always, you're welcome to watch both. Just remember, this is a general reading, so please take the messages that resonate for you and feel free to leave the rest for someone else. I'll see you at your pile. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the white feather, then this reading is for you. First, we're going to take a look at your oracle card. Karmic relationship. Okay, so pile 1, we can deduce that your reading or some of the energy that you're dealing with right now or that is around you has to do with an important relationship in your life. Doesn't need to be a romantic relationship. Karmic relationships can be family, friends, coworkers, siblings, basically any relationship that you would consider personal in some way. Karmic relationship is certainly going to be deeply affecting. So if this applies to you, if this reading resonates for you, you're going to know who this person is. It's not going to be a mystery to you. So let's pull some tarot cards to kind of get a clearer picture of what this is about. But that might be a little hint for you, pile 1, if this reading is for you. We'll put your card and your feather over there. We'll get your tarot cards. What messages are trying to reach pile 1 regarding this karmic relationship? Two of Pentacles. Okay, flying out here. Knight of Pentacles, the Devil. Okay. Okay, so just a hint maybe to help you figure out who this person is or if this is your pile or not. The energy around this relationship in the past or currently is that this person keeps you guessing. This person keeps you a little bit off balance. You never quite know where you stand with this person. I'm getting a message of maybe even could be some personality or borderline personality disorder, sort of an energy of you never know which version you're going to get of this person. They also might be keeping you waiting in some way. You know, there might be something that they've promised you or something that you've discussed with this person and it's important to you or it's important to the relationship and it keeps just being promised and never quite being delivered. But for whatever reason, you don't feel like you can walk away from them. And, that would tie in there. If I was going to pick a card for a karmic relationship, I would certainly pick the Devil card. So the energy is on point here. It's connecting. It's that feeling of being trapped or being tied to someone. Even if you maybe know on some level intellectually that it's not healthy for you. And certainly the Two of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles combined would be hemming and hawing energy, going one way and then going forward and backward at the same time, not being proper, not having a balanced progression that feels like you understand where everything lays, kind of like it's a confusion, a trying to juggle back and forth, something that feels like it's not really within your control or not really within your grasp. So if that feels like you, or feels like a relationship that you have in your life, 5 of Cups. Yeah, okay, the message I'm getting is that you're afraid to lose this person, but it feels kind of like, if you're honest with yourself or in your darkest, most honest moments, you feel like either you've already lost them or you never really had them. So it's almost like this feeling of loss, or this sense of loss, is almost baked into this relationship. So, karmic relationships are there to test us, to teach us something. It's a contract you make with that soul so that you can both help each other grow. So you can bet that a karmic relationship is certainly going to entail some, not suffering, but it's going to include some difficulty. It's not going to be a completely smooth road. But by the same token, there's something about it that is very important for your growth, or for your ascension, for your transformation, for your development into the path you're supposed to walk, or the person you're supposed to be. So this energy of the 5 of Cups, which is very focused on loss, very, very focused on what you don't have, maybe a lack mentality versus what you do have. There might be something about that. There's something about this relationship that is almost like poking that trauma for you, or poking that fear for you. And, it's possible that that's intentional, along the lines of the karmic connection, is to free yourself of that perceived limitation. Maybe, there's a little bit too much focus on what you have to lose, or what loss would feel like, so much so that you're not living in the moment. Maybe there's an anxiety surrounding this relationship that is kind of tainting the highs of it. Like, it's like the positives of it are being watered down a little bit by fear. So maybe the new moon is, a good time to start a new habit, to kind of start a new regime, or start a new, kind of revisit your goals and make a go of trying to do things differently. So it might be helpful for you to journal what your goals are for this moon cycle, especially going into eclipse season. Things are going to be more exposed than we're comfortable with. It's just a little more difficult to keep solid ground. So it might be a really good time to get honest with yourself about whatever this hang up might be, so that when you do go into eclipse season, if there are tests that come or the boat gets rocked, you're not going to fall overboard. You're going to be a little more solid on your own 2 feet, and let this other person kind of work things through in their own way, so that it doesn't take you down too, if that makes sense. It's almost like, yeah, you got 2 6s here. You need to be your own safe space. So it's possible that you have had a habit in the past of looking to your relationships, or looking to others to be your strength, or to be your support system, which is, normal. Like, we all need support systems, but you should also have a little bit of a well of being your own support system too. Like, you need to be supportive of yourself. You can't just look to others to fill in the gaps where your insecurities might leave holes in your confidence, if that makes sense. So yeah, definitely focusing a little more inward. I mean, I always give that advice because we are the only thing we can control, right? We can't control others or their choices or their behavior or how they see us or how they treat us even, so we have to solidify our own defenses and be a fortress. And of course, you let people in, and you lean on people and you share with people to deepen relationships, but you also, and you have to have strong enough reserves where if they are having a difficult time, whether it's like a difficult 5 years or a difficult 5 minutes, that it's not going to derail you and your development and your growth, because they're on their own journey. You're on your own journey. You might be walking together, but you are not them. Like, you're the sum of your parts does not equal them. So yeah, the message I'm getting is about remembering who you are. Try to call some of your power back to you. This doesn't mean separating from this person. It doesn't mean pushing them out of your life unless that's what feels right to you. But you do need to regain a little bit of your balance in yourself that is not dependent on their behavior or their choices. I have some more advice, please, for pile 1. Interesting. I need a little clarification. We have the Page of Cups there, which can mean a couple things. It can mean reconnecting with your inner child, being more playful, connecting with a more childlike energy within you, but it can also mean apologies. So, it's possible that you feel resentful of this other person and that needs to be dealt with before you can move forward. Yeah. Yeah. The message is, remember your value. I think you're undervaluing yourself. I think that you have possibly put someone else on a pedestal here, and you've kind of forgotten or never fully delved into your own worth, what you bring to the table, what other people might value in you. It's possible that you struggle with people pleasing. And, sometimes those of us that struggle with that will expect others to behave the way we would in a situation. And then when they don't, it feels very hurtful. It feels like they aren't treating us the way we treat them. But everyone has their own sort of rubric for what they are willing to give to others. And sometimes giving can be a sign of great maturity and evolution and sort of having achieved a level of inner peace where we're able to then give. But sometimes we give out of trying to a misguided attempt to sort of control the way others perceive us. And that can turn into people pleasing because it's not coming from a place of genuinely having a cup that's overflowing of your own. So you start to give because your cup's already full. It's like you're going around giving, hoping that others will do the same. And if you have that lack mentality of your cup being empty and you need others to fill it, then you are setting yourself up for disappointment because you don't know where someone else is in that process, in that journey. They might be in a place where they don't have any reserves to give. They might be in a place where they haven't learned the value of giving yet, and they're just taking. And just because you're not someone who tends to approach things that way, that doesn't mean that the people around you aren't. So it's not about, thinking that they're selfish or judging them. Everyone's at their own stage of the journey, and you don't know where this person is at. So I think the message is definitely asking you to turn more inward and to be a little bit more aware and a little bit more precious about your own resources and about how you see yourself. Definitely recommend journaling, just lists of good things about you, valuable things about you, just to remind you. You could do some meditations where you imagine a cord going from you to the people you're close to, and you can imagine gently and without anger or judgment, you can request your energy to come back to you along that cord, and you can imagine your energy kind of filling you back up. Or you can do some research into calling back your energy ritual, whatever feels right to you. But I get the sense that you're feeling very depleted. And at the beginning of a new moon cycle, and also as we come up to a new season, we're going to be slowly entering into fall soon. We're almost to the autumn equinox. You are going to need your energy. You're going to need your reserves. Okay? So definitely be really precious and protect what's yours, and make a conscious, mindful decision when you decide to share that energy. Don't do it to get something back from someone, because that's not a guarantee at all. You could end up feeling very empty. And you'll be surprised too, once you're protecting your own energy and being a little more careful with how you share yourself, you'll be surprised how much of your resentment just goes away, because you don't feel those expectations of others that they're not able to fulfill. Okay, pile one. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was not too harsh. I kind of just said what was being channeled, so I hope it didn't come across too intense or judgmental. I don't mean it that way. I struggle with some of these things myself, so completely understand the tendencies. But I hope you found it helpful, and I wish you the best of luck with this. And I'll see you at the full moon. Thanks, pile one. Bye-bye. Hello, pile two. If you chose the black feather, then this is your reading. Let's start with your oracle card. Burden of Tears. Okay. So, obviously, those of you that I'm connecting with are going through something right now, or maybe trying to hold it together, at least feeling an internal struggle, even if you haven't been showing it to the people in your life. So if this resonates for you, then stick around. We'll pull some tarot cards. Put this right over here. I have some messages for pile two, please. Some new moon messages for pile two relating to this burden of tears. Okay. Getting deja vu from a previous reading. So, the Eight of Cups. Oh, Five of Pentacles. Yeah, so loss, walking away from something or leaving something behind and either regretting it or feeling like you definitely had no choice. It was what you needed to do, but you're still really sad about it. Wow. Okay. Page of Swords, the Hierophant. It's possible some of you have walked away from a marriage or an engagement or an organization that you were part of, whether it was a job or a church or a club or a group of some kind. And I think that you're feeling that you're in a bit of a transitional phase right now. You felt the need to reinvent yourself. Yeah, okay. So definitely you don't regret your decision, but I think that you wish you had had another option. I think that it felt like the right thing to do, but it's been really difficult. This could also be something that you're contemplating doing, and you're just kind of mentally following the path down. Yeah, you're looking for your happiness. So you recognize, you can see this top row, which is either, what's recently happened, or kind of the thought process that you're following here while you're trying to make a decision. Leaving something, walking away, feeling lost, feeling sad, feeling left out in the cold, feeling like an outsider, feeling like you've lost something that used to give you life, used to fulfill you, and now it's not that anymore. The Page of Swords, transformation, doing something difficult, cutting something out that has been important to you in the past in order to elevate to the next level. And then this second row is a very strong energy. It's all major arcana cards. We have the Hierophant, which is, structure, organization, the status quo, the parameters of our society, rules, authority, things like that. We have Justice, and we have the Sun. So justice, we all know what that means. It's things unfolding the way that they're meant to, karma, things coming into balance the way that they're meant to be. And the Sun, meaning happiness, joy, being able to be your true self, being able to realize your potential, being authentic, living in your, sun. So I think that this is I think these are some of the reasons behind your choice, or why you're thinking about making this decision. And your goal is obviously the Sun. Your goal is just to get through this to the place where you can be free, be yourself. So maybe you were part of a relationship or an organization that was no longer in line with who you see yourself as, and it's been really difficult to extricate yourself from it, or you're thinking about trying to extricate yourself and it feels impossible, but you also don't see any other way to get to where you're trying to go, which is authenticity. So, burden of tears, it's a bittersweet situation, because obviously it's painful, it's difficult to leave something behind, but it's also exciting because it's the first and probably most difficult step on this path to where you're trying to get to this place of happiness and freedom that you are trying to reach. So let's see what else. I have some more advice for pile 2. King of Swords. Okay. Definitely being confident in your words, speaking clearly, throat chakra, air element, using logic, being in some ways a little ruthless with how you approach protecting yourself or speaking your mind. Whether that's, writing a letter, writing a post, making a post, sending a text, having a phone call, where you speak your truth and you don't hold back. It's not necessarily about attacking or being mean. I would say if it was in reverse, maybe there would be an element of that, but this is justified. This is, maybe you've been saying something for a long time and you haven't been heard. And it's time to step up the strength of that, of the conviction of those words. It's time to be a little bit firmer with someone. Okay, so you may be dealing with someone who is refusing to take you seriously, or is refusing to grow up, or refusing to be responsible. Maybe this is someone who isn't taking responsibility or isn't willing to take responsibility for a way that they've harmed you or others, or something that they've done that's been harmful, that has forced you to reevaluate whether or not this situation is for your highest and greatest good. And you have someone that is holding on to either playing innocent or playing the victim. The kind of personality where they say something hurtful or mean, and then when you're offended, they say, "What? It was just a joke. Like, why can't, what, you don't have a sense of humor? You know, that kind of energy where it's not genuine. It's there to protect them. It's there to ensure that they never have to face consequences. So that could be very infuriating. You know, maybe you're involved in an organization and you're starting to see that, or a person, and you're starting to see that their values don't align with yours. Maybe you've grown and you've kind of changed your perspective on some things in the world, and you see this organization as being maybe a little bit unfair, limiting, judgmental, something that just doesn't align with where you're trying to go with your life and what the mark you want to leave on the world. I have some advice, please, for pile 2. I have some advice for pile 2, please. Advice for pile 2. Oh. Ace of Cups. Try not to let your heart grow bitter. Try to approach this with love. So if you're able to see this person or this situation through empathetic eyes, maybe you see a past version of yourself that did identify with this, or you see, you remember how you felt and how you thought before you evolved to this next level. You remember how it felt to trying to make your way, trying to fit in, trying to find your people, trying to find your person. And what you're being asked to do in order to get through this is to look at this person or these people with love and compassion. So it's almost like, not the phrase I'm getting is kill them with kindness, but that's a little, intense. I'm not suggesting that you manipulate anyone or pretend to feel something you don't feel. It's more about getting yourself into a place where you're able to see the shortcomings of others as, I want to say, like, adorable. I know that's kind of strange, but like being able to see them as just, and I'm not talking about looking down on anyone or being condescending or anything, but it's really just about accepting people where they're at and realizing that others can only they can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. And so many people have not met themselves very deeply yet. Doesn't mean that they won't. Everyone has their moments where they come up against having to confront their choices or their beliefs. It might not happen anytime soon. It might not happen in this lifetime, even for this person. Maybe it'll happen right in front of your eyes. Who knows? But you aren't in charge of that. You're just in charge of you. And, there's a saying that I love, which is holding a grudge is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. So if you want to achieve this and move on from this and not be bogged down in this sadness or this confusion or this, despair of trying to force someone to understand you and see your point of view, you just need to let them go with love. You need to wish the best for them truly, because then that's what your vibration will reflect. So it's kind of, I would have expected maybe even to see like the Hanged Man in reverse, or even not in reverse in this reading. It's almost like you need to change your perspective. Your perspective is understandably focused on some of these darker paths and some of these more difficult energies and more negative things, but you need to flip it around to love. Love is always the answer. Love is the strongest energy in the universe. Love is what magic is made out of. It's essential, and it's a great tool. So you're being called to remember the greatest tool in your toolbox and to wield it. So find a way to genuinely love. There's a book I love called The Tools, and it has a section about sending love to those that are making our lives difficult. And it's a very vivid, it just explains a really good way to meditate and visualize that process, and it really does change things. So definitely recommend that to you. At least, researching just that chapter. You don't have to read the whole book if you're not interested, but that section would definitely apply here. Well, pile 2, I hope this was helpful. Got a couple of tips there about a possible path out of this energy that you're, possibly stuck in or that has been bothering you. And I wish you luck, and I will see you again at the full moon. Thank you so much for joining me, pile 2.